to the YouTube channel. Um, Getting straight into this video, the market just closed and we saw that our trade ideas panned out this week. Just give you a quick recap. We started off this account with 25,000 flat paper trading, and as you can see, we finished this week with a little over 4%. So it's a pretty good week, and we did it in 2 days. See, Tuesday and Thursday day on the 12th and the 13th, we were able to capitalize on some high probability entries, and this video will just be marking up the chart, expecting where the next week draw would be, the more than likely where the weekly candle would want to trade. So hopping right into it, just going to clear up my chart and get ready for and annotate for next week. So we just drop down to the 1 hour chart and do all the clearing. So remove here. You guys could also let me know how you're trading when this week. Leave a comment. Everybody, it doesn't matter if you had a bad week, if you had losses, all that's part of it. Nobody out there only catching dubs. I sure not one who always catching dubs. You can go back to the first introduction video, the very first video on the channel. You would hear my journey where I'm having difficulties with the funded challenges, but it's not stopping us. We're definitely not giving up. We're still out here to get funded, to get capital, to get equity, so we can, achieve all our trading desires and goals and aspirations. So the draw still in effect. This week chart up wouldn't be much different. We're just going to look at all the inefficiencies on the dollar from on the British pound and euro that more than likely will get filled while it's still continuing our higher time frame bias. Well, the higher time frame draw, these highs over here from on March, and the weekly fair value gap, which is also a monthly fair value gap to closing. All right, you see we have a monthly imbalance, definitely also a draw. So we could see that up higher prices on euro and dollar is on the cards. So we look at the euro chart. I'll drop to all our time from on the daily, so we could see how we trade. Our targets were hit. The low that we are aiming for with the draw on the weekly chart, we see we just reached down into it and rejected it. We tapped into it a little bit. If you can see there, we have a small little wick through, and underneath that wick on the weekly chart we have relative equal lows. This is also a swing low too. It might not look like it, but it's also a swing low. And if you look close, we have an imbalance here as well, a volume imbalance, where we only have wicks, no bodies. So we can clearly see that a draw on this downside is definitely where the market would want to go, and subsequently tap into here. So we could also put this in as a expected draw on the sell side. Liquidity on the weekly. Drop down to a day chart, and we have relative equal lows. Definitely could be an area of interest, right, for the next draw. So I'll just clear up this real quick. From the 4 hour. So we could see how the liquidity void was a draw where prices was respecting it, and then it traded down into it, and it's also a fair value gap on the flip side to more than likely reject price, or at least draw price to come up into, but we're not really expecting price to trade all the way back up top here. You know, we're more expecting next week draw to close in this imbalance on the daily chart, daily fair value gap here. Daily FVG, and you all could also comment and let me know how your studies with the standard deviation going. If you find it's a strong strategy, if it's something you may look into and using, you drop a comment and let me know what you like, what is your current strategy, how it's working for you, and we can definitely have a conversation about it and see, you know, how much more tools we can add to our arsenal, because I definitely not out here to say my strategy is the best and you shouldn't do that, you should do this. No. Definitely not my what I'm here for. Right, so I just highlighting the gaps in price that I'm noticing. Not of a daily fair value gap here. And we always look at the most recent, right? The most recent. So this liquidity void look like, and also it overlapping with our fair value gap that is in a premium now, and we have a swing high. So this could be a draw whenever the first higher time frame perspective is met, which is weekly. Then we could look at here as a next draw. Drop to the forward chart, where we'll see we have a swing high here. So and we have a relative equal high here as well, but this one is the nearest one. So I'll just highlight that here out in time. Come on, man. I have a forward swing high. Bit all smaller. I just typically put the buy side liquidity pool like the forward and under. I keep it at, I use the thinner liquidity pool like that. Trend line, it's a trend line. So I know, okay, there's a forward, because I just only label the daily, the higher time from like weekly and daily with the ticker trend line and put it in brackets. Like this here's our next daily. Here. Anything under daily, I just keep it with a thinner trend line. And we drop to the 1 hour, and we could see an area of interest on where the market would want to draw to for next week. Alright. So we see we have a lot of equal highs here. We have a relative equal high there as well. So next week, clearly, you see already the chart is like a repeating revolving door. Last week, chart analysis was just like this how we started, right? Look on the 50-minute chart, we see some structure. So we could see this relatively equal high. So we have a range here as a draw. So I'll just highlight this and put a note here, and we have a range here. A 50-minute structure. Actually, I won't highlight that. I'll just keep that as a note when market open next week. So I know there's a 4 hour, so we could reasonably anticipate about 10 to 15, maybe 20 pips move into here to close in the range right at the top of the daily fair value gap, and we can look for shorts above here as long as the market trade up first before it goes down. for euro, we could anticipate some retracement here. The next thing I'll do, seeing that we enter in the third week of September next week. I like to look at the seasonal tendency. So I go on invest.com, and you can use anyone, just Google seasonal tendency for the currency pair you traded and look at it. So euro September is a good month, good time for euro heading into mid October. So that's why we saw some strength from euro. So we see about the third week, we can expect a little bit more strength from euro. So but we still bearish. So whenever we see euro showing us some strength, we just look for what time of day of the week, and we could go short. All right. So that's just what we'll do on the euro chart. Again, the higher time frame perspective, charting daily, the forward buy side liquidity pool, daily fair value gap. That will be a draw for next week. So you look for shorts in and around here. British pound. We see that pound did trade down to our first low hanging fruit objective, which was this low here and these equal lows. We traded through them here today, and we're still going down. So the draw would be this low and the swing low on the weekly chart that we were initially looking at, to see if it wanted to go lower to fill in the volume imbalance on the weekly chart here. I'll just put weekly VI, and then the weekly fair value gap, any discount here. So I'll just drop to the 1 hour, clear up the screen, clear up the charts, and again the same things we're looking for from last week. Last week we saw same thing happening here. Higher time frame perspective still in play until we fill the higher time frame perspective. Then we look to see if we have a shift in the structure of the market, and if the dollar index seeking lower prices. And to me, a shift in market structure is when, again, the higher time frame perspective is met, and the dollar index, did its thing, fill in the gaps, and then that is obviously the market structure would shift then. Kind of self-explanatory, and a shift in the market structure. This when it traded on into here wasn't a market structure shift, because look, we still went down. It was a break in the structure here, and as we know, we already knew that the weekly profile was in place, so we could have buy here. At the time the price was here, we could have buy here at a discount, but we know we just looking to sell anything above these highs here. We look for shorts. So I'll just go straight into the forward chart, look for some imbalances, look for some inefficiencies, look for some liquidity. Sorry, I'm going to do the chart first. Alright, so we don't have much imbalances there, but we have a swing high here. There's a daily high. So if you notice, wicks on a daily chart most times end up being the 4 hour candlestick painting. Sometimes it'll be the closing on the 4 hour. Wicks on a 4 hour would be a 1 hour, wicks on a 1 hour would be a 15, wicks on a 15 would be a 5, wicks on a 5 would be like a 3 and a 1. There's a little clue there for you all to look into something if you all want to gain on the earliest points. Because if you notice too, the levels that we getting at, when price do pan out and go our direction, you will notice that it never really be at the like in the body of the candle. It don't ever be like in here when the rest of the day pan out. Now we is actually gain on the wick here if we buying, or we gain on the sell here if we selling. So it's always done to be the very high or the very low of a move, which always be intimidating because we getting in as soon as the move starting to develop. You had to have a lot of trust in your strategy to know that, all right, yeah, this is the level we know market going to turn at, and we're confident in it. That is one of the things why I really like this setup and trust in it, because I know in the long run, I always wanted to see the market as somebody who could get in on the lows, because I see it as a more of a swing trading mindset. That's how I view the charts now. I view it where I would obviously want to know to trade scalping and intraday, but when you have any more money and you have more equity and more capital, you want to be flexible enough to know you can do different styles of trading. I'm not saying try to be a trader in every facet it have, but if you could have more tools for your arsenal, if you could have more styles of trading, that's just on my personality. Or I just like to have a lot of. I don't like to be like just one dimensional. I like to have a lot of different other aspects to my cabinet. Then let me find like a better term. So it's not much charting we typically do before the market start. We just look for the first low hanging fruit on the buy side, which would be this buy side liquidity pool on the swing high here, which is also a daily high, 4-1 daily high, 4-hour swing high, and a daily buy side liquidity pool, a relative equal high with a 4-hour fair value gap above. Drop to the smaller time frame, 1-hour chart, 15. So the draw definitely still on the downside. We don't have much imbalances, so we could see that the draw would be up here. So that is pretty much it until Monday's open. We didn't have much clearing up to do for pound, because we were anticipating lower prices and we are anticipating market to come down lower here. So until this whole price action happen here, then we will see what if the draw still lower and what it will be. So that is about it for this video. Just go over euro, nothing much either here to talk about. As the draw. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself, enjoy your time this week. Don't get too caught up in the charts. Don't be like how I was in the beginning, even though it obviously panning out now, but I definitely I didn't have a good balance. I was just focusing on the chart. I wasn't really talking to my friends that much, and I was just too into the chart, because I kind of get obsessed with things when in the early stages, when I want to just find a rhythm and a understanding. But definitely enjoy your weekend. Let Sunday open and pan out, and then 12 o'clock for opening on Monday. Then you can look to see how the market really and truly looking. So that's about it, and see you guys next week.